Okay, Donald Trump's press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, visibly and audibly failed to explain why Donald Trump is accusing TV host Joe Scarborough of murder on Twitter during a press briefing yesterday. This was, I believe, her shortest press briefing in a long time. I think it was 16 minutes only. She barely takes questions and often just aborts when it gets a little bit dicey. And you have to see this to believe it. So to catch you up, yesterday I told you that Donald Trump spent the weekend as the United States coronavirus death toll approached and has now surpassed 100,000. Trump spent the weekend not just golfing, but also retweeting that Hillary Clinton is a skank and accusing MSNBC host Joe Scarborough of murder. I showed you these tweets yesterday. We'll go over them one more time. Trump tweeting, quote, "A lot of interest in this story about psycho Joe Scarborough. So a young marathon runner just happened to faint in his office, hit her head on his desk and die. I would think there is a lot more to this story than that. An affair? What about the so-called investigator Reed story?" Referring to a 3-year-old right-wing nut story. Trump also tweeting, "A blow to her head, body found under his desk, left Congress suddenly. Big topic of discussion in Florida. He's a nut job with bad ratings. Keep digging, use forensic geniuses." And as I told you yesterday, what this all relates to is a Scarborough staffer that tragically died in 2001. The woman was 28-year-old Lori Klasudis, maybe better pronounced. And of course, Kayleigh McEnany was asked about this, and the nearly 2-minute answer that she gives is bizarre. It's a combination of whataboutism, condescension, incompetence, and lies. Let's look at it together. And I apologize for subjecting you to a little more than 90 seconds of this, but I think it is important to understand the full answer that she gave, or non-answer that she gave.
Why is the president making these unfounded allegations? I mean, this is pretty nuts, isn't it? The president's accusing somebody of possible murder. The family is pleading with the president to please stop unfounded conspiracy theories. Why is he doing it?
Well, I would note that the president said this morning that this is not an original Trump thought, and it is not. In fact, 2003 on Don Imus's show, it was Don Imus and Joe Scarborough that joked about killing an intern, joked and laughed about it. So that was, I'm sure, pretty hurtful to Lori's family, and Joe Scarborough himself brought this up with Don Imus, and Joe Scarborough himself can answer it.
He's the president of the United States, and he's accusing somebody of possibly murder. I mean, this is different. He's not a private citizen. He's the president.
Yeah, and Joe Scarborough, if we want to start talking about false accusations, we have quite a few we can go through about Mika asserting,
I'm asking about the president's allegation.
And I'm replying to you and saying this morning, as recently, I believe it was this morning or yesterday, Mika accused the president of being responsible for 100,000 deaths in this country. That's incredibly irresponsible. They've dragged his family through the mud. They've made false accusations that I won't go through, that I would not say from this podium, against the president of the United States, and they should be held to account for their falsehoods. Joe Scarborough should be held to account for saying people will die by taking hydroxychloroquine. Never mind the millions of Americans and people across the world who take it for rheumatoid arthritis and other reasons. There are a litany of false headlines like Mika.
The president spreading a false conspiracy theory that suggests that he's responsible for murder?
I would point you back to Joe Scarborough, who laughed and joked about this item on Don Imus's show. It's Joe Scarborough that has to answer these questions.
Why is the president doing this, was the question. Why is the president accusing someone of murder and the family of the victim is saying, please stop? Kayleigh McEnany's answer is Trump didn't come up with the idea that Scarborough murdered someone. And Joe Scarborough and Don Imus joked about murdering an intern once. Now, joking about murdering an intern might be in bad taste, but it had nothing to do with this actual death. To say Trump is justified in tweeting that maybe Joe Scarborough killed Lori Kasloudis has nothing to do with Joe Scarborough and Don Imus joking, maybe in poor taste, about killing an intern. Secondly, Joe Scarborough and Don Imus were not the presidents of the United States. They weren't president of the United States, tweeting bogus death accusations, bogus killing allegations to their 80 million followers, which is what Donald Trump is doing. Then she says, well, Joe Scarborough's co-host Mika Brzezinski once said things we believe to be false about Donald Trump. Mika Brzezinski is not the president. Donald Trump is the president. There is no relevance or comparison. Now, in terms of hydroxychloroquine, people have died from taking it. But again, that has nothing to do with Trump accusing people of murder on Twitter. We're a joke, guys. I hate to say it, but we're a joke. We have a petulant, incompetent child as the president tweeting conspiratorial murder allegations against a TV host that he simply doesn't like. The president is accusing people of murder on Twitter. The press secretary is defending it by saying, well, other people said things we don't like. That's the defense. But we're talking about the president. She has nothing to say in reality because there is nothing to say. She represents nothing. She is the spokeswoman for a madman and she doesn't care. How does she sleep at night? She claims to be some kind of supposed Christian. That's probably a story for another day, but absolutely unconscionable what Trump is doing, how Kayleigh McEnany is defending it, and the complete lack of Donald Trump ever. I mean, earlier I jokingly said Trump apologized for tweeting fake news. He just never, he doesn't take responsibility for anything. He doesn't take responsibility for the unnecessary coronavirus deaths, which are not the full 100,000, of course, right? I mean, but some fraction certainly would have been avoided, up to 60%, according to a recent study, had Trump acted earlier. He doesn't take responsibility for lack of testing. He doesn't just say, you know what, it was over the line to go after Joe Scarborough in this unfounded way. It did bring unnecessary pain to the family of the victim, Lori Kaslau. He will never do it. He will never do it. And if you're holding your breath, waiting for him to do it, you will soon die from asphyxiation because he's simply not going to do it. Privacy.com is one of our sponsors, and they're giving you $5 just for using their free service at privacy.com/Pakman. Privacy is a service I've been using for a while now. I love it. It saves me a bunch of headaches. It's completely free, and it's very quick to set up. And here's how it works. When you pay for something online or over the phone, instead of exposing your real credit card number, Privacy lets you generate virtual card numbers. The payments are withdrawn from your checking account, but your real card number stays completely private, and you do it all with one click. You can autofill the card number in your web browser, on the phone. You can create 12 virtual cards a month. You can set spending limits, freeze them, delete them whenever you want. I especially love it for free trials where you need to give a credit card number because I can destroy the virtual card number as soon as I give it to the company, and I know I won't be charged in the future. If you're ordering food over the phone, why do I need to give a restaurant my real card number if I don't have to? Companies don't have to know who you are. Your real credit card number is protected from the data breaches that happen, unfortunately, more often than we would like, and it's completely free. They do have a paid version with different tiers where you can create more virtual credit card numbers per month, cashback rewards, extra security features. But go ahead and sign up for the free service. It's a no-brainer. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. You're protected from identity theft. It costs you nothing. And Privacy is giving you $5 to spend just for signing up when you go to privacy.com/Pakman.